I have to have this corporate job. I have to, I have to get a regular paycheck. But could that be masking something that you need in order to grow personally? Because this regular paycheck you have could be masking the fact that you can only live paycheck to paycheck because you haven't developed discipline in your life in regards to money. So therefore you have to keep this job. You can't take a risk. You can't you can't um you can't grab an opportunity when it's in front of you because you're so tied to getting this regular paycheck every 2 weeks. And people get
Yes.
stuck there. Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yes, they
Mhm.
do. I know that there are some people that, well, I'll go back to the way that you put it. If you've had baggage with your check and in your personal life, you're gonna have baggage in whatever
Oh,
you end up going out into.
mhm.
And I think that's one of the things that may be something that's stopping someone to go, you know what, if I'm struggling here, I can only imagine what it would be like there.
Right.
And it may actually get in their way of them making a decision that could drastically not only change their lives, but others.
Mhm.
Um, I think one of the things that I would want people to be able to understand is that's why there's those 3 pathways.
Yes. Mhm.
It's not something that necessarily locks them into one or the other. It's finding the thing that works best for you.
Right.
And it's really taking a look at, okay, well, maybe that doesn't have to be your expertise. Maybe that's where someone like Michelle and her team can come in and actually be able to help you figure out how to be able to do things like that. Because you have to be able to work on your weaknesses in order to be able to turn some of these things into strengths. And even if it's not a strength, it's don't let it be to your detriment.
True. Yes, I agree with that. I mean, just to for me,
Hmm.
in my own personal experience, coming from corporate, I went to school, got the corporate job, moving up the ladder, and then what? I get a layoff.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
trigger. But you know what? It's the best thing that could have ever happened to me, and when I was in it, it was the worst thing that could have ever
Hmm.
happened to me.
Hmm. Hmm.
But hindsight is 2020. You don't know that it's actually the best thing that can happen to you because you're so used to being in that routine
Yes.
of going to that job, and you don't even see other opportunities that are available to you because that's just the way it has to be.
Yes, yes. I know how many different conversations I've
Mhm,
had about entrepreneurship as one of those options, and the level of people that told me, "Well, you're crazy."
mhm,
I can remember doing consulting work, and the level of people that said, "You're crazy. I don't know how you do it."
mhm,
And it served such a great purpose for me. The struggle may have been, the inconsistency before.
mhm.
Now we're in a world where some people that worked at the same job for 15, 20 years are now finding themselves laid off and they're not
Yeah.
used to that world. So
Right.
that adjustment is something where it's so drastic that they're just like, I'm interviewing, but I can't get anything.
Mhm.
I'm trying to get out there, but I'm going about it the way that it used to be done
It
as
used to.
opposed to the
Mhm.
way that things are being done now. And it's a scary, scary time because I honestly question how many resumes they actually read. When you have AI and so many different things analyzing who to have the conversation with, who not to have the
Mhm.
conversation with. I can remember being on the corporate side, and there are some gatekeepers on the human resource side that I can remember going, "You're fresh out of school. And you're
Mhm.
asking me questions about a career that you haven't been in long enough to really be able to understand why I've chosen the path that I've chosen and the way that I've gone about it. And I've had to get past them to get to the actual people that were
Right.
going to be able to ask the questions that understood what my value was. So
Mhm.
it's a scary time for the people that don't know what that world feels like and what it's like to be back out there again. So
Yes.
that's one of the reasons why I thought the consulting bridge made sense because you're not necessarily looking to go out into entrepreneurship or have a portfolio career, but you do need to bridge the gap between being laid off
Mhm.
and going back into that next interview
Mhm.
and it being something where they ask, what did you do at that time?
Yes. And that's the question, right? What
Mm,
did you do with your time away from your 9 to 5? And there's a lot of different ways you can fill that time. So, I remember a time when my husband was laid off
mm,
and, he was sending out the resumes and all that stuff. And one day I just asked him, I'm like, "Why don't you just Volunteer. And in that volunteering
Mhm.
showed up a job
Yes,
because
yes.
of a volunteer opportunity. So don't think that your hands are tied because people are not looking at your resume. You're not getting any callbacks.
Mhm.
Your hand is never tied. Never. As long
Oh
as
my.
as long as your hand is open, you're open to receive, it is never tied. But if you have that hand clenched, closed, opportunities won't come past you because your hand is not open.
There
You're
you
not
go.
ready to receive.
There you go. That's another clip right there. That is another clip right there. I mean, I was halfway listening to it going, "Preach," because yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it is such a either it can build up your confidence or it can tear it down.
Mhm.
And the only times that you can really be able to kind of refill your cup is by putting yourself in a position where you get
Yes.
that reminder of
Mhm.
it doesn't matter what those people think in that moment. It's not about how many people respond to your resume. It's about the value that you bring and the
Exactly.
timing in which you present some of that to people. So
Mhm.
going out and doing volunteer work or finding opportunities where you can remind yourself, no, I do bring value is
Yes.
something that can directly affect your ability to be able to find something when you do get into an interview. So
Mhm.
yeah, you got to get some context. You got to be able to put yourself out there. And if putting yourself out there makes you go outside of your comfort zone, sometimes that's what you need to be able to do in order to be able to find a new path or a
Mhm.
better way to be able to go down the path that you're on.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need is to be outside of your comfort zone. Opportunities don't happen to you inside your comfort zone. You have
Mhm.
to be a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You have to be a little bit uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, growth can happen.
Yes.
Growth can happen. So step outside of that comfort because is it serving you? That's the question you have to ask. Is staying in my comfort zone serving me right now? And
That
if it
that
is
is a
not,
deep question.
you need to step outside that comfort zone, whether it's people, circumstances, skill. Like
Mhm.
maybe you're going after this skill that I've done for 20 years. Maybe that's not it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a softer skill you might have that will then pique somebody's interest about what you can and cannot do. Stepping outside that comfort zone changes things.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Another way that I would frame it is it's the status quo and the
Mhm.
dangers of it.
Mhm.
S Sometimes the indecision is a decision,
Mhm.
and just maintaining the status quo, "Well, this is the way it's always been done. This is what I've been doing for years." That doesn't necessarily leave room for you to be able to grow, evolve, or
Mhm.
do any of the things that may require this new version of you to be able to flourish in this new world that we're in. So
Mhm.
yeah, if you get stuck in the status quo, it can be a dangerous, dangerous thing. And it's something where you have to be able to take that look. So in those situations, that's why I thought the three pathways was something that could help some people in situations because it's either you know that you're going to stay with the one check and nothing wrong with that. But then there's also when you start to realize I do have some other skills. I have some other
Mhm.
things that I can leverage. And instead of getting paid for the one that I've been doing for however long,
Mhm.
I can start to branch out and start to leverage some of these other things. I got to be able to leverage that through doing consulting work. And that's when I realized, okay, there's a lot of different things that I could do that I could get paid to do. And that's what
Yes.
allowed me to be able to kind of had the career that I've had because I worked
Mhm.
on the brand side, I worked on the publishing side, I worked on the exchange. I've been able to go to different parts of the process and really be able to kind of extend my career in ways where other people just kind of did what they did. And then when that went away or something shifted, then they were trying to scramble to try to figure things out. So those soft skills can be something that can propel your career in ways that people may not think of. So I'm a big component of yes, learn how to be able to do some of these other things, exercise some of these other talents and skills that you may have because they're natural abilities.
Mhm. They are natural abilities, and there may be something within you that is
Mhm.
lying dormant as well
Yeah. Yeah.
because you have been so focused on the skill that you have developed over the years. Who knew an accountant would be talking about this subject? But that's me.